Very cool. I'm that girl who's excited to see a lot of people tripping up on limited perspectives and information, right? Sorry, but not sorry at the same time, because when we hear information from sessions from our guides, our high dimensional beings, those other aspects of ourselves, when we are channeling them, and we have been channeling them for quite a few years, we get to hear the truth from our collectives, right? So whatever is that client's collective is telling you that information. So say in a Pleiadian collective will be told different from a Turian collective. All collectives, well, all one, we're all learning different things and having different experiences. Can get a bit complicated when we're trying to track down the truth and only the truth. Really, it's your truth from your collective and what they have to share with you. So it's interesting when you start noticing that there are other people that have different collectives from you. All cool and all, because we're still one, but it is interesting to see who you're still resonating with in terms of information. And isn't it exciting that people are just starting to wake up to the information about September 11, for example, and what happened there and why. It was a huge awakening for many, and a lot of people realized that potentially what they personally experienced wasn't covered correctly in the news. Interesting times, right? So this is a huge one to awaken people. And I seem to still see lots of people getting very angry that the truth hasn't been disclosed. Well, the truth sort of is being hidden from humanity and has been hidden from humanity for a very, very, very long time. And that's challenging for those people who want to find the full truth and only the truth. So you want to say hello today, do you? Okay, so at home with the kids because they've got sneezes, so they're hanging out at home on our Monday, and now have an extra guest, so hopefully he scratches and sneezes and does all sorts of fun noises to entertain us. So anyway, what I was saying is that it's very interesting how people are now starting to notice and start questioning some of the things that they have taken for granted as facts and information. I sort of say to some people, if you're not calling yourself an anti-vaxxer at this point, you haven't done enough research, and that kind of is when I go into judgment and wanting to really push people to start really looking at certain things. While we know we've got life contracts and while we know we have our free will, there are still things that are going on that could be potentially harmful. I know that children who have got spectrums, that's part of their life contract. Nothing's happening to them that the soul did not ask for, which I know is a big one for many people to work through. So this is important to be able to explore in sessions, to be able to understand. Good. Dry reaching. That's what we want to hear on a Monday. How are you doing? Okay. So it's a family show today. So another thing I want to share with you is how to be of service. And I see that many people are not trusting that they're enough. So what do? They worry. As soon as we worry, what happens to our frequency vibration? It drops down, and we start fussing over the times we were not perfect humans. The times that we got really frustrated. We sort of want to judge ourselves. And the thing is that it's already happened in the past. We've experienced it. We know we can react to certain things. We know where our tolerance level is. And now it's about us just really accepting who we are, where we are at, and who's in our lives and our families at this moment. And are we still expecting them to be carbon copies of us? Or are we seeing where they are at on their journey? And can we love and support them still on their journey? when we want to talk about crimes against humanity, for example, and we're just outraged, when we know with intuition what has happened and why, but we don't have the metaphysical perspective of all of the significant values of those experiences, when we're just all pissed off that we've had to experience this because, lots of humanity suffered trauma from that experience because they suddenly felt that they were very vulnerable, that one day out of an ordinary day, no preparation, what they consider to be war, so they're not in wartime, and for something super impactful, it impacted the world, not just those who were there. So people are very traumatized by the fact that suddenly a big event could occur, and some people could say, well, that's part of the plan to kind of keep you in scare and fear, and to be really worried about what's kind of coming next. We know what's coming next. Yay, right? Advanced us. How fantastic that we get to know everything. Have sessions in terms of free and explore it yourselves. But what I wanted to say for those people who are like, for fuck's sake, Joe, nothing's happening. I can't see anything happening. Okay, that can sound and seem like that, right? That, while the planet's still intact and, we're just, heading towards Christmas. I want to say this to you. And this is, I've actually said this to some people and it has cheered them up. So hopefully this will help if you're still feeling the same way. Check the death tolls. People are dying in the masses. They're shifting, my friends. That is why we are physically shifting. It is proof that they are physically shifting and that we will be physically shifting. If it was supposed to be and truly was that New Earth was here and we were living in the fifth dimension now, all fantastic. Been excited over lens flare, lens flare reflections. Fun fact, just a side note, if you point your digital camera towards the sun and have some sort of like stippling or some trees or something that kind of does interesting things to the, even if you just pointed your camera at the sun, you're going to get like a lens flare. And so you can't see it with your naked eyes, and you can track the blue orbs and a whole lot of stuff, and you can get some rainbow effects and blah, 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 blah. Fantastic, right? But predictable. You can get it every single time you point your camera at the sun or a bright light. And I have seen so much of this that makes people feel like it's really mystical and really special and all this sort of stuff. And if you need to do things and think certain things to give you high vibrations, I'm all for it. But from from a photographer's perspective, you're always going to do that. If you stand in front of the sun and the sun's behind you and you use your camera, yeah, you're going to have awesome halo effects, right? Tell everyone you're an earth angel and put that on your website. Fucking fantastic, right? Do that. If that makes you feel special and authentic, then awesome, right? That is cool. But just see what you're looking at and know what you're looking at. And it seems like some people who don't point their cameras at bright lights or stronger light sources feel like they're missing out. Why don't I get rainbows in my photos? How come I've never had a halo over my head? Blah, 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 right? Because it's actually a process with photography. It's got nothing to do with you not being special, because you are fucking special. You're super awesome. Did you check yourself out in the mirror? Did you tell yourself you're fine? Did you tell yourself you love yourself? Like, what have you been doing to honor yourself and your journey? So sidetrack again, what I was going to try and say was the significance of us grounding ourselves while we are pulling in a lot more higher frequency. We know that more and more people are raised their frequency vibrations, right? We've checked it out. It's not the planet. You can ask in sessions, is the planet raising its frequency vibrations? You're going to get your answers one way or another. Accept it, apply it one way or another. It's the people. So those people who have shifted, who we think have died and we've gone to their funerals, so sad, fantastic lives, oh wow, we can understand from sessions where they have gone and what they're doing, and they're healing and they're waiting for us. Okay, so they're helping, they're healing, they're amazing, and they are safe, they are well, and they're doing everything that their soul needs. And so this is interesting because at some point, these people who say the shift is here on this earth, blah, 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 you know, how are they explaining the physical changes? How are they explaining the earth changes? And how are they explaining all of the deaths? Of course, they go into fear and say, well, it's depopulation, blah, 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 blah. You know, we should be afraid. We should be judging people who have had inoculations and a whole lot of stuff. Fun fact, lots of people are dying regardless of their vaccine status. Okay, so we know why, right? They've graduated, celebrations, jazz hands and all. And we're still here to be of service to those who are still afraid to notice what's going on around them. Fun thing seems to be people are starting to create extra wax in their ears so they don't get to hear. You know, some people are, you know, trying to avoid everyone because of the density. And we have to notice if you're trying to avoid people still, this is a great reason for you to focus on more grounding. And we can practice truly grounding with that 15-minute meditation. I've made into a playlist now on Conversations with Heaven on Earth for you to be able to just know how to reach it. And even some clever people know how to like download it. So, you know, yay for the geniuses out there who know how to use technology, because I'm certainly not one of them. Anyway, I'm cool, I'm special. So they are reminding you that when you are so fucking awesome, when you're so advanced, your soul is amazing, coming to a 3D life to have really no skill sets of your true awesomeness and power and all of the energy you can do and create and all this sort of stuff. When we've come here to be 3D, I mean, you know, it's human or a rock. It doesn't sort of seem like, you know, there's that much difference. You know, fun time, you could eat as a human and that's a blessing. But it seems like many of you are struggling to feel valued and honored and respected being human because you know you're beyond human. And while we're just playing human lives right now, give yourselves a break. You're allowed to be human. And if you're just focusing on not looping into frustration, not looping into fear, and just accepting all is going to unfold as it needs to be while we're being of service, loving all of the sleepyheads and loving all of those people that are addicted to the fear and they're constantly triggering their adrenaline to get those endorphins. Right, so they aren't ever wanting to find inner peace and balance because they're just too addicted to the highs. And you know, that's a choice and it's something that they have to overcome when they want to, but being in balance feels very calm, feels very relaxing, and we don't have those roller coaster emotions. Now I am finding big advanced beings feeling depressed and have been for some time. And so I'm saying it's not your mental health, it certainly isn't your mindsets, it is the density that you're carrying. How do you solve that? Good food choices will help you. More water will help you. They're basically saying if you're, they want you to drink enough water that your pee is clear. There you go. So if your wheeze is a color, then you know, up your water, please, and you will feel so much better for it. Because remember, your bodies are upgrading. You know, regardless of whether you've been forced to be upgraded with some inoculations or whether you're doing it organically, you're still all upgrading. So whatever that looks like for you, and sometimes it can be really brutal. The more higher frequency we are feeling and drawing in, the more we can release the density of a whole lot of nonsense. People are saying that they're really worried about, you know, blood work and a whole lot of stuff because their doctors don't understand what's happening to their bodies. Well, yeah, that's not a surprise, right? Go metaphysical. Look at the metaphysics of what is happening to your body and why. That will give you a huge release of, you know, all is well. I know we're attached to the bodies, but we're just renting these out for this earth gig, right? We're just borrowing them from the planet. And when we shift, we will be leaving these carbon-based bodies behind. We know that. And so getting back to the person that, well, people are saying they can't see anything. They can't see any changes, and it's just dragging out. And I say, if you want to feel uplifted, this is awful, but it works, check out the death toll, because you know those people are shifting. And more people are shifting because they have graduated their life experiences, and they are getting the extra help that they need off planet. Okay, so I know it sounds woo-woo, but explore it in a session. If you've lost someone recently, even in the last few years, ask about them in your sessions. Get your practitioner to ask, I'd like to call upon Nana. What is she doing right now? And, this is helpful. This is really helpful. And, there's just so much to be said about it. And when we're worried that we're not enough, we are lowering our frequency vibration. So check what you're looping with. If you're frustrated about anything, can you just release it, let it go, accept it? Don't take it personally. And many people would love to have someone that was able to talk to them about the shift and a whole lot of stuff. And you're allowed to talk to people about it, but isn't it funny how when you talk to someone who's not ready for it, and this truth is poison to them, they're going to gag. They're going to be really frustrated and angry and kind of in fear. And so we've all been here when we know this information, and then we put on so much responsibility to tell everyone about this. And fun times when we try to tell people the truth, because they're not ready for it. So they will be poisoned and they will react like that. And we will be the problem for them. And we can instantly feel their dismissal and denial. I mean, it's fun. So we have to see where they're at and love them regardless. And we need to be able to just see what we're really seeking from others. I mean, I know I've said this before, but what are we still trying to get from others? Are we trying to get attention? Are we trying to get love? Are we trying to get respect? I mean, what are we really doing to each other and for each other? Because this is a big highlighting thing of whether we are of service or whether we are sort of part of the problem. We could know all the information about the shift, but if we are not wanting to love people and empower people and support people, even just listening to them, we know that healing can be done by just talking and sharing. So, regardless of whatever they think and feel, we're here to listen and support them and not make them feel like they are stupid or crazy or any of that sort of stuff. Like we've felt that, we've done that before, we've had that ourselves as feelings, right? So we know how to be actively, seriously listening with love and allow them to share. And it's important times for us to make people feel like we do care about them and that we do listen to them and support them. And it is of service, obviously, and we know when they're looping and repeating their problems and their traumas and their dramas, they love them so much because they have something to say. So it is about trying to, with love, guide them into considering bigger perspectives. What are the lessons there? What did you learn from that? Gosh, that sounded dreadful. What did you learn from that? Make them think about their traumas, make them think about their experiences, and actually, keep the conversation, because they love talking about themselves. Hurt people love talking about themselves, so much so that they are completely oblivious to everyone else in the room. And so, it's nice to be able to recognize those who have healed and those who still need support. And when we give them praise and attention for starting to think about the significance and the purpose and the lessons that they learned in those traumatizing times, is going to actually make them feel better, that there was meaning, it was significant, it was purposeful. So fun times. What else? I just feel like there's still so much to be said. They're still wanting people to apply. the information given and to just relax, knowing that just you, not looping into worry and fear and distractions, that isn't keeping you at neutral or above, which is a higher frequency of just, joy and love. Whatever you're sort of doing. I know some people are like, I hate my fucking job, I can go to hell, right? I'm going to create hell. I'm going to put my job in there and some of my coworkers. And I'm like, oh yeah, fair enough. But we have to look at it, in all aspects, and have faith and trust that whatever situation we're in, we are not supposed to run from certain things. We can face our fears and problems and look at it to empower ourselves. Do you have lack of faith that you're going to get a better job? What is really going on there for you? Why are you exposing yourself to this sort of stuff? Questioning. If we just have sort of put it to the too hard basket, can't look for another job, or can't do something, blah, 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 blah. Constantly check out what limits you are putting on yourself in situations. If you're not even trying to look for another job, you're not going to get another job. So it's really about, being fully aware of what you are instantly dismissing as something couldn't. If you've got a weakness in your life that you don't feel like is very good, but you just tolerate it, then look at it and strengthen that. See how that is to help you. See what expectations you have with that job, with those coworkers, with that family member, and really just sort of stop and think objectively about it. I know people say, oh, if someone gives you a bad vibe, run from them. Oh, yuck, like hide from them, like cut them off, just really dump them. And it's kind of like, well, that's one thing. But what if your life contract is to actually support and love and respect them? And here you are cutting off all those people that give you the bad vibes. And the thing is that I know for some people, they will feel a bad vibe from someone because they know this is going to trigger them to grow. And so if you are wanting to hear new information, for example, and someone's trying to give you new information, you're going to feel that bad vibe from the poison of that growth. So, and there's lots of things to be said about that. So, I just sort of find people celebrating cutting out all the low vibrational, like family members and friends and all that sort of stuff. You're not being of service. There's lots of perspectives over it, but we're supposed to be the way showers and the mature ones and the loving ones. Jesus isn't saying, I know that some people don't like hearing about him, but he says to love everyone, including the lepers, right? Love everyone, including the vaccinated. Love everyone, regardless of anything that they are doing. We have to just love them and respect them, knowing that they're on their own journey. They have their own free will. We can love them. We don't necessarily need to be like, Siamese twins with them. But, there is a balance there. But if I'm sorry, there's just way too much stuff. Avoiding people and maybe avoiding conflict and confrontation isn't going to grow you. That's avoiding. It's avoiding empowering yourself. So see if there is anything like that that's in your life that maybe sort of can be seen something from a different perspective. Remembering if someone's really dense and aggravating and really angry, they're hurt, right? So you wouldn't, if you saw someone hurting on the street, would you avoid them? Would you like try to cut that cord and kind of, run the other way? Or would you actually sort of think, well, I might know some CPR or, some first aid? We know CPR, we know first aid in the spiritual world because we know that that's love. Accept them, respect them, and love them with no conditions, no expectations, just pure love. And so it kind of seems like lots of people are celebrating, avoiding those who are hurt. We're here for those who are hurt. And we're supposed to heal from ourselves and our own personal hurts. And the universal language that is on earth is the emotions. We all feel all the range of emotions. We all should be able to identify it and have our own language and even our own labels to the emotions we feel. So we have to experience and overcome certain emotions to be able to identify them with others and for others on their own journey. This is why some of us have had really challenging experiences to, play in all of the range of density and all the range of emotions to then be able to identify exactly what's going on for others. It's a tool set that we wanted to have to be able to have deep, instant empathy to understand and read exactly where that person's at. Of course, sometimes when we talk to them about it and sort of state that we can read X, Y, and Z from them, if they're not ready to be open and honest with themselves, they're going to shut down that poison, shut down that truth. You don't know me. We can read it so clear as day, but when they are not identifying that's their own problems, their own setbacks and hang-ups, they're not going to be open unless they're actually asking to be read. Fun times. Okay, well, I think my children need me, so I'll go, but enjoy your days, love yourselves, drink lots of water, do that mirror work, and yeah, just be gentle on yourselves and remember that you are a huge soul essence playing 3D lives. And I know that can be very frustrating and feeling very limiting because what we naturally can do in our other lifetimes, we can't always do as easily here. Okay, bye.